Merry meet and welcome to Psalmic Saturday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga and we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch for today's Psalm spell, which will begin in just a moment. Moderating today on YouTube is the lovely Deline, and thank you so much, Deline, for stepping in at the last minute. And on Twitch is the lovely Dre, and thank you, Dre, for taking over both of the streams for the tarot streams today. And thank you to everybody for joining us today for Psalmic Saturday. We have a premiere starting today at 11 a.m. Pacific. Did my video just... Okay, there it goes. 11 a.m. Pacific on my YouTube channel. And I hope you can join us for that. Today's psalm is pretty brief, so we should have more than enough time to answer also any questions if you have any. You can put any questions you might have about anything that you want to ask me right into the chat threads, and those are available on your whatever you're streaming on, both on YouTube and on Twitch. And if you don't have anything to ask me, please feel free to chat amongst yourselves anyway, because that's what they're there for. And if you want even more chatting opportunity, make sure that you visit our Discord server and or our Facebook group, where we have all kinds of wonderful people in our community. We have a shop, and that's located at arielscornershop.com, arielscornershop.com. We make a small commission off of each and every sale there. We appreciate your support. That's all affiliate links. And if you want to give us a donation, you can do that by going to paypal.me/arielgatoga, paypal.me/arielgatoga. If you're watching live on YouTube, you could use a super sticker or super chat. Or if you are watching on a restream, you could use a super thanks. Sorry, but the video keeps stalling. I don't know. I think it's the way it loops. I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see, we have a new course that we started just a few weeks ago called it's the Fairy Magic course. And you can join that course if you'd like by going to arielgatoga.com/fairymagic. And that's spelled FAERIE-MAGIC, fairy-magic. arielgatoga.com/fairymagic. And it's a fun course. And if you don't feel like doing all the fairy magic course, we do have supplements with that course that are fairy tales. And I've started to record some of those fairy tales. So you can look at that playlist or that podcast that is separate. And it's called A Fairy Tale a Day Keeps the Magic in Play. The whole idea behind that being that listening to stories in and of themselves is a great way to stimulate and develop our imagination and visualization skills, much better than visualization exercises, in my opinion. But in addition to that, they have the added benefit of fairy tales having wonderful magical and occult wisdom steeped within them, much like do the Psalms. All right, I think that does it for my announcements. I really appreciate you being here, and we will get going on our psalm spell right now. Today we are working on Psalm 101. Psalm 101 is magically used to break harmful habits, for protection against evil plots, and to vanquish evil spirits. So today we are going to be using Psalm 101 to destroy any evil influences in our lives. And when we say evil, evil simply means that which is going up against our good, not necessarily evil as a spiritual quality, but evil meaning that which is thwarting our good in any way. So to vanquish evil plots is an old way of saying that. The way we work psalm magic is very simple and very effective. We take the psalm in question and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. This is known as an incantation. And then we go back through that same psalm and we consider each verse one at a time. And we dig for and search for hidden occult meanings that lie within those verses. We see these as magic seeds. And by doing the digging, searching, and then applying what we find there to whatever the issue we brought to the psalm, we are in a very real way planting those magic seeds deeply in the fertile grounds of our minds, where they take root, they grow, they blossom forth, and then they bear fruit after their kind. And that's what we are going to do together right now with Psalm 101. I want to show you here that I'm not quite finished with this. It's not a long psalm, but I've written out the psalm on a piece of paper, so I'll continue that later. And what I do with that, for one thing, it helps to get it into my deep mind, but also I can charge this as a talisman. I can fold it up if I want to carry it with me and then refer to it throughout the day, or I can just hide this somewhere in my home as a talisman for whatever it is that I'm working on. So if there's some sort of evil, quote, evil or negative influence that you're looking to banish or vanquish from your life, this is a wonderful tool that you can use to do just that. So we'll pretend like this is already finished, and we'll just light a candle on top of that. This happens to just be a sigil that I had going today. So, altar is getting a little crowded, but that's okay. Psalm 101. Let's do it maybe like this. Okay, here we go. I will sing of mercy and judgment. Unto thee, O Lord, will I sing. I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way. O when wilt thou come unto me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. A froward heart shall depart from me. I will not know a wicked person. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will not I suffer. Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. I will early destroy all the wicked of the land, that I may cut off all wicked doers from the city of the land. All right, so we need to just first off, we want to orient ourselves. First off, we want to orient ourselves to who we are speaking to who we are addressing, to whom we are addressing. We are calling on the Lord. Now, those of you that do this work with me frequently know what we mean by that. But if you're new here, the Lord is not a Hebrew deity. It's not any kind of deity. The Lord in the Psalms is a symbol of the singular power that is the source of all. There's only one, and it includes everything. There's nothing that's separate from it. So since there is a singular power, a singular force, similar to the Force in Star Wars, I might add, we, by orienting ourselves to this power before we begin this magic, we are in a very real way connecting ourselves with the one true power of the universe. And so since we are at one with this power, there's nothing that can be against us. And so that's the power of these Psalms, is that we understand that first and foremost. It says, I will sing of mercy and judgment. Unto thee, O Lord, will I sing. So to sing is to create a disturbance. It's to use your voice a little bit more forcefully than when you speak. It's not yelling, it's melodious, so it's respectful, but it does create a lot of vibration. Now, when we talk about singing in psalm magic, we're not necessarily talking about singing with your physical voice, although that can be done. We are talking about the inner magical voice, the way that we use our minds, the vibrations that we bring forth into our lives. And we are wanting to bring forth a harmonious yet disturbing vibration, meaning that we want to disturb whatever this evil is in our lives that we're wanting to vanquish or diminish or banish. So it's saying that we are singing of mercy and judgment. That is sphere number 4 on the Hermetic tree of life, ruled by Jupiter. So this is not only a spell to get rid of things, but by orienting ourselves towards sphere number 4 and Jupiter, it's also a spell, believe it or not, of prosperity. I will behave myself wisely in a perfect way. So we're making a promise to ourselves and to infinite intelligence, not only that we are going to act rightly, but we're going to think rightly. We're going to speak rightly. And when we get our mind, our words, and our actions in alignment with the will of infinite intelligence in regards to mercy and judgment, then nothing but good will follow, because we're getting behind the law of cause and effect. We are getting our causes straight, and then the effects are inevitable. Oh, when wilt thou come unto me? Now that's a question of invocation. Sometimes when in the Psalms it says things like that, it's dealing with impatience, but this is more rhetorical, because when will God come unto you? God never left you. That's a very good way to remind yourself of that, is when will you come unto me? God never left you. God's not far from you. God's the closest thing to you in this regard. And again, when we say God, we're talking about that one power. It's a pre-gender power. It has nothing to do with deity. It has nothing to do with patriarchy. It has nothing to do with childish kinds of worship. It is a very real force. It is the thing that is beating your heart right now. It's the thing that's allowing you to breathe. It says, I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. Now, your house is your body. Your house is your aura. Your house is your circumstances. Your house is your life. Much like in the tarot, the emperor is talking about your empire. It's all of your circumstances, all your stuff. So you're going to walk in your own life with a perfect heart. Now, how can you have a perfect heart? By allowing yourself to be the way you were created. God created you perfect. Everything that's not perfect about you is something that you added, either because you were taught to do that by others, or because you made faulty decisions. This whole world sort of is oriented toward adding things that don't belong. And that's our problem here, is that we try to fix or to alter that which infinite intelligence created. And there's nothing that needs to be fixed about you. So when we say that we're going to walk with a perfect heart, that means that we're going to walk with our souls the way they were created, and we're going to stop trying to make ourselves anything different than what we already are. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. So that means if think about your internal eye. When you set something before your internal eye, that means that you're contemplating it, you're seeing it, you're visualizing it, you're conjuring it. What do you want? Those sorts of things are not wicked. The things that you truly want aren't wicked. Wicked in the Hebrew is Belial. And Belial later in Christianity became personified as Satan. But Belial, if you just look at the etymology of it, it means worthless. I'm not going to contemplate things that are worthless. Right? Wanting a cigarette, that's worthless. But what's the cigarette going to do for you? It's an addiction, right? What's it going to do for you? What good thing will you accomplish by smoking that cigarette? It's not that the cigarette is bad, it's that it's worthless. Nothing good can come of it. So I'm not going to contemplate, conjure, or look upon in my mind anything worthless. That's my promise. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. To hate something in the Psalms means to turn away, to pivot from. So the work of them that turn aside is not talking about outside of you. It's the thoughts inside your mind that conjure your own destruction. We call that the ego mind. And when left unchecked, the ego mind creates all kinds of problems for us that seem unsolvable. And we're not going to allow that work to go on in the workshop of our mind anymore. We are in charge now. The boss has come back. Gurdjieff used to say it's like you have this beautiful mansion and all these amazing servants, and somehow you went into the basement and forgot that you were in the basement, and you're all by yourself, and the servants don't know what to do. So they're just running amok and creating all kinds of problems for you up in the house, and you're just stuck in the basement. So now we're getting out of the basement. We're not doing that anymore. We're saying, I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. That means I'm not going to contemplate these things anymore. I'm not going to allow my mind to run amok, and I'm not going to allow those thoughts that I seem to obsess over to cleave to me, to hang on to me anymore. I'm not doing that anymore. A froward heart shall depart from me. I will not know a wicked person. Again with the wicked person. The wicked person is not an external person. A wicked person is not outside of you. It's the wicked person within you that you're not going to know. Because what's going on with other people is ultimately not our concern in this psalm, even if this psalm is being directed at negative behavior towards us. When we deal with the wicked person within our minds, it automatically vaporizes those circumstances in our lives. So we are working to get those circumstances handled in your life, but we do it by going within, not by looking outside of us. Now, when it says a froward heart shall depart from me, froward means difficult. Froward means that you're you know those it's like colicky. it's very difficult. It loves to just create problems, just to create disturbance, to create conflict. It's the Queen of Swords is froward. So those parts of my personality, I'm turning away from them. I'm turning away from them because those things are going to leave me because I'm not giving them any steam, those kinds of attitudes. I will not know a wicked person. I'm not going to even chit-chat in my mind anymore with those ideas of problems and evil and all the judgments I have against people and how bad my life is and how bad they are and how afraid I am and everything's bad. The world is going to the dogs over and over. All those things, I'm going to just turn away from that. I'm not going to have that be in my mind anymore. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. What do you think about people? What do you think about people? What are the thoughts that you have about people? How judgy really are you? A lot of times we don't want to look at how judgy we are because we think, well, no, I'm not like that. I'm really nice. Because we don't want to sit and look at the fact that, no, we have big judgments about people. We think we're so smart that we know how bad they are and they should be different and listen to how they are and aren't they awful? And we don't know anything about where they're coming from or what they've gone through. We think we do, but we don't. That's slandering your neighbor. Even thinking that you know about them and that you're thinking that you can have a judgment on their behavior because you're so much better than they are. And so basically this part of the psalm is rhetorically asking us, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge other people? Why do I get to slander everybody? So I'm going to cut that out. It says, him will I cut off. I'm going to cut that out. When I notice that I'm judging other people, I'm going to recognize that I'm involved in creating this problem. So I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop it. And stopping judging other people, we think it's going to keep us, it's going to make us more vulnerable. It actually keeps us safe. It actually keeps us safe. Him that hath a high look and a proud heart will I not suffer. Anytime you have a judgment about somebody, you think you're better than them. You think you're better than they are. You think that you're smarter than they are. You think that your behavior is so much better than they are, and you think that you know what's good for them and what's not good for them, etc. So don't kid yourself. Anytime you have an opinion about the behavior or the worth of another person, no matter how right you think you are the problem. You're contributing to the problem, and you're going to stop that. You're making a promise to yourself. Him that hath a high look and a proud heart will I not suffer. I'm not going to do that pride thing anymore. I'm not going to have that high look. I'm not going to pretend that I'm better than everybody, because you know what that really, why we do that. We do that because we're afraid that we're less than. We do that because we are afraid that we're not good enough. So in order to make us feel better, we come up with all of the things that are wrong with them. What do we call that in psychology? Projection. So I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to use that tool of projection in a negative way anymore. Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. So your eye, again, what am I thinking of? What am I considering? What am I conjuring? What am I contemplating? What am I looking for? You get what you look for in this world. If you're looking for all of these problems, you're going to find them. Seek and ye shall find. It's Magic 101A. Your mind is more powerful than we think it is. Or our minds are more powerful than we think they are. So it says, mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. So the faithful of the land are those thoughts of faith. I know everything's going to work out for me. I know everything is going to work out for everybody. I know there is a way to solve this problem. I know that all is well in the infinite intelligence's mind. I'm not going to believe all of the illusions that I see, and I'm not going to contemplate things that I no longer want to be a part of. I'm only going to be faithful of the land. Now, the land is the land is the manifestations in your life. So those are the effects of the causes of your mind. So the faithful of the land are you looking out onto the phenomenalistic world, the physical world, and saying, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm faithful, meaning if it doesn't look like infinite intelligence's will, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying this manifestation. I'm faithful. I know that there's something that is much more in keeping with truth on the other side of this. So I'm not going to let my eyes fool me. I'm not going to let my ears fool me. I'm not going to let this world fool me. I'm going to stay with my eye single on the fact that I know infinite intelligence's will for me is happiness. So if I'm not seeing a happy outcome, then I know that I'm not seeing the truth. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. So walking in a perfect way is walking in the way of infinite intelligence. That's listening to that inner guidance. You're guided at every turn if you ask. If you ask. If you ask, you won't make mistakes. If you don't ask and you think that you're smarter than infinite intelligence, and that's that thing that you said that you were going to turn away from, that high look and a proud heart. So since you're going to turn away from that, then what's left to do? Be humble and ask your inner guide, what do I do? Where do I go? What do I say? How do I say it? At every turn. And that's he that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. That inner guide is walking in the perfect way, and that inner guide does serve you, and it never leaves you, but it can't force you. Sometimes, if you're really off track and you have a history of working with that inner guidance, sometimes it can almost seem like divine intervention, where the guide goes rah and sort of like forces you, but it's still not a forcing. There is part of you that's willing to have that happen. But overall, you have to make the first move. You have to ask that guidance happen. You have to ask where to go, what to do, how to be there. You can't expect everything just to be done for you. It comes from you. But then that inner guide serves you. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. So remember, your house is your mind, and then it's your circumstances in your life and your relationships and all that. But it starts out with your mind. So you're not going to harbor or give audience to deceit. You're not going to work deceit. Now, sometimes we read that and we think, well, that's easy. All I have to do is not lie. I think I can do that. But lying is what we do here. This is a world of lies. Nobody tells the truth here. Nobody tells the truth here by themselves. It's impossible. It's impossible to even know the truth, let alone tell the truth. So remind yourself what you talked about in the previous line, in the previous verse. You're going to listen to wisdom. You're going to listen to that still small voice within you so that you can know the truth first, and then you can tell the truth. So that's your commitment, is that you're going to ask that the truth be revealed, and then you're going to follow it. You're not going to be arrogant into thinking that you already know the truth, because the truth does not exist in this world. It's not obvious in this world. The truth exists in you, within you. And that still small voice is there for you at all times, but you have got to develop that relationship on your own. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen for you, that you're no longer going to be victimized by the lies of this world, or the lies even within your own mind that you're used to telling. You're not going to be victimized by those things, but you have to get into the habit first of asking to be guided. If you're not asking for that guidance on a regular basis, like moment by moment basis, then there's no way that you can expect to live in a world without lies, because you haven't established that habit. Because if you already knew better, you would do better. But you don't know better, because this world has you snowed. All of us snowed. But the good news is that it doesn't have to be that way. But we have to allow ourselves to go within and listen to that voice. I will early destroy all the wicked of the land. That means the first thing I do when I wake up, I look out and I say, I don't buy any of this. That's what I do. I'm like, I already know this is not peaceful, my day. I already know, just by opening my eyes, I'm going to assume none of it's peaceful, none of it's honest, all of it's lies, and I'm going to start with that. And people think, wow, that's negative. No, that's positive. Because then the flip side of that is now I'm open and receptive to the truth about how to see things and how to do things and how to interact with things today. I'm not going to make it up as I go along. I'm going to listen to the truth that abides within me. But I have to it says, destroy it. I will early destroy. That means first thing, just assume that it's wrong. Assume that I don't know what I'm talking about. Assume that everything that I see is a lie. I just assume that. That's just where I start from. That's the baseline. And that gives me so much more power. And it's so much more, quote, positive than positive thinking, because I don't have to come up with it. I just have to listen to it. I have to listen to that still small voice. And it guides me. It shows me where the truth is. And everything changes. And I'm no longer susceptible. I'm no longer susceptible to the lies of this world. Whereas if I'm just counting on myself, like I'm so smart, then that arrogance is going to get you every time. Because if you were so smart, you wouldn't have the problem in the first place. Right? If we were so smart, we wouldn't be in half the jams that we are as human beings. Most of it has nothing to do with like natural problems. Most of the problems that we have in this world are self-inflicted. So we're not that smart. So if we as a race aren't that smart, if we as a species aren't that smart, then how are we as individuals supposed to be so much smarter? You know, it's just, that's arrogance, and we got to get through that and listen to the wisdom of this psalm. that I may cut off all wicked doers from the city of the Lord. The city of the Lord is that place where the hill is, Zion. It's that place where the hill is, where the temple, the tabernacle is. That is the place where you and infinite intelligence are one. That's a sacred, holy place. And that's the only true place. That's the only real place. This world is a very bad reflection of a bunch of erroneous thoughts that we've come into habit of thinking and projecting. But the real place, the real true city, the real true world lies in where we are connected with infinite intelligence. And what we're saying here is that I may cut off all wicked doers from the city of the Lord, meaning that I'm no longer going to allow myself to be hypnotized and hooked by the nonsense of this world. And I'm only going to listen to that still small voice, which emanates directly from that city or that connection or that Zion, that hilltop, right? So it's very important that we understand when we're working magic like this, that we're not minimizing what's going on in your life. So if you're coming to this psalm because you've got this really awful, evil person after you, we're not saying that that's not happening. We're not saying that it's your fault. What we're saying is that we're going to take the psalm and internalize it, because that's where your power is. And when we plant these seeds within and we consider these ideas, that person no longer has power over you. We've taken its power away from hurting you. So we're not minimizing and we're not blaming you when we are internalizing this stuff. We are accepting our true power so that we can be victorious over whatever is the problem. So you just keep coming back to this psalm again and again until you get that sense, a very clear sense within you that your spell has been cast. And you know that by the way you feel. You feel peace and you feel certainty about the outcome of the situation. Even if you don't see anything in the physical world yet, you have a sense of knowing, that sense of peace that all is working out just fine. Once you get that sense, you don't have to cast this spell anymore. You can move on. But until you get that sense, keep casting until you do. The idea is getting to the point where you feel good about it. And then once you feel good about it, you know that manifestation is imminent. Thank you so very much for spending some time with me today. Until next time, blessed be. Okay, let's see if we have any questions before we leave. Does not look like it. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I will be on the premiere, and I hope that everybody joins me in about 9 minutes on my main YouTube channel, Ariel Gatoga, youtube.com/Ariel Gatoga. And it's a pretty brief premiere too. I think it's about 20 minutes max. So we'll have a great time, and I hope you can join me. We'll be back tomorrow for a live stream lecture, and then we take a day off on Monday. So thank you for spending some time with me. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.